Everybody, and welcome back to A Freak Sense World. I'm your host, Charlie Freak, and welcome to episode number 17. And I greatly apologize for no show yesterday. But when Colleen and I woke up in the morning yesterday, we were without power, and we waited. And we actually are rarely ever without power. And if we are, it's just for a short period of time. So it's kind of suspicious that we were without power for about 8 hours yesterday. And then as soon as we got it, I raced on, but unfortunately, it just wasn't going to be happening. But everything happens for a reason, and I can feel it. I felt it kind of right away yesterday, that there was something else going on, and that it was important for whatever reason for the show to be done today. And so we always see these things as great opportunities instead of disappointments. And that's, again, just approaching life from the right hemisphere of the brain versus the left hemisphere of the brain. And today's show, episode number 17 on People for People Radio. And I want to first start by thanking Patty, who is so amazing, supposed to be the guest, supposed to be the guest on the show yesterday, and a tremendous guest she is going to be as soon as we work all of this out. And Patty's producing the show today, and she really is just such a beautiful, amazing individual, which is probably the highest praise anyone can give anyone. And the same goes for Vanessa. Vanessa is just tirelessly helping to make all of these shows so much better. And that Vanessa is who you are speaking with in the chat room here on People for People Radio. And again, Vanessa is just such a beautiful soul. And what you're seeing with really is the heart and soul of today's show, because there is a secret to make this phone call, or to pick up the receiver for the phone call that's being made to you from God. There is an absolute secret to all of this, and it really relates back to virtue. It's why when I did the meditation show, I focused so much on the fact that we have to become virtuous in our lives versus then the bits and pieces of the details of, or little tricks on how to meditate and make meditation easier. Because it's kind of like riding a bike, and everybody they see the bike and they want to get on the bike and they want to be on the Tour de France right away. But it's gradual steps. It's a process. It's a journey. Everything in God's creation is a journey, and therefore there's a reason for it. And the biggest reason, of course, is that we learn wisdom by learning along the way. So every single day that we're alive is another lesson. It's just lessons upon lessons upon lessons. And every day, if our eyes be single, if our eyes are open, then we actually learn from these lessons. And so every day, incrementally or gently or in a big way, we just begin to grow and grow and grow in our wisdom. And that all comes by casting thy net to the right. And, really that's Patty and Vanessa, and I appreciate them both so very, very much in all that they do. Because see, the thing is with acts of kindness, living underneath the gray rain curtain of this world, living underneath the firmament of God's creation, all the things that we say and do, they actually don't go anywhere. They stay within the firmament. And so it's perfect, because of course, therefore, in every moment we are a complete collection of what we are based on what we always have been. Because here's a little secret for you. There is no new life. When God created all of this, everything was created. And that means the child that you're carrying in your womb is simply on another pathway of reincarnation. So there is nothing new under the sun. In the 6 days that it took for God, allegorically, metaphorically, in this days, whatever a day is to God, in the 6 days that it took to create the entire universe, the creation of our earthly realm, everything was created. And so this is the biggest this is the biggest proof in which you can debunk all of what this ridiculous modern science has become. Modern science teaches you this story that everything has come via evolution, and we are just the latest. I mean, what an incredible way to devalue us, and of course to devalue God. We are the pinnacle. And I have just completed, and I'm just doing the editing. Colleen's helping me so much on a massive, this is, I think, going to be up to date our best podcast ever. And it's called A113, adrenochrome and planting the seed. And it focuses on far beyond just adrenochrome and the symbol, the Cabal symbol for the adrenochrome, which is A113. The biggest ways we discussed 3 weeks ago on the show Brainwaves is that the biggest way to control how we think, the brainwaves that we harness inside of ourselves. And so that's why they use, so once again, we talked about there are 6 brainwaves that are commonly understood as signal carriers to the brain, and 5 of them are beautiful and righteous. And there's only one that is very disparate for the brain. And guess which one organized society uses to transmit everything, like TV waves, radio waves, microwaves, everything is transmitted to us via these beta waves. Beta is a discordant set of parameters. Therefore, when whatever it is that's being transmitted to us, it is messing with our brain. It is unsettling the mind, and we need to calm and still the mind. It's the single biggest, most important thing, which is going to be the basis of the show today on 11:11. It's the basis to everything, is stilling the mind. So when they do this history, we create this fake history that we're just Johnny come lately, and then we're going to go, and then someone will replace us. Don't you believe that for a second. There are no such thing as dinosaurs. Sure they are. Sure they are, Charlie. They got dinosaur bones in every museum. Really? 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 Get whatever science kit you need, and it doesn't matter what museum you go to. You go up to one of those dinosaurs and you test it. That's not a dinosaur bone. And then what will they say? Oh, okay, you got us. But we got them, but they're just in storage because they're very old. And if we expose them to the air or to your breathing or to your eyesight, they're going to crumble into dust. So we got them. Trust us. We got them. But, they have to be put away, kind of thing. And that's what it is. It's the same thing with subatomic particles. No, basis of all things. That's why it starts with the letter A. Alpha, father, atom, which is the father transmutating part of himself into the child. So anatomy, everything starts with A because everything comes through A, alpha, the father, the one. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. There you go. It's the beginning of the story. Our new book that's coming up on the hieroglyphics of the English language. There's 26 letters. The first 3 letters is the first part. That's the preview to the story, the prologue. And this is where you get to meet the characters, get to meet A, B, C, father, mother, child. That's how it works. That's why it is the way it is. And it's really beautiful. But what they do is really evil and sinister. And because these lies start from the moment that we are born. And the reason is because they know that there's nothing new under the sun. Everything is a reincarnation. We've been here before. Do you ever have that feeling that you've been here before? Deja vu? Yeah, you've been here from the beginning. And when you're in the left, rated from everything of value and importance in the brain. The left brain, the dying brain, 10% of the brain's capacity is like this separate little world unto itself. And there is no way, there is not one single way into the middle magic mind of the brain, the third ventricle, the very innermost, centermost spot of us, our essence, where our soul is. There's no way to it from the left. You have to go to the right. You have to go up and to the right. And so that's a parable. So even our physiology is a complete parable. The earth itself and the construction of the Holy Land is a complete parable. All you have to do is just levitate and rise up into the air and then look down at the Holy Land, and there it is. Sea of Galilee, the skull, Jordan River, the spine, and the Dead Sea is the sacrum. Everything is about the Bible is just human physiology, science and mathematics from the sacrum to the crown of the skull. And so is the Bhagavad Gita. So are the Buddha Sutras. I was rereading all of these things in preparation for the show today, in particular the Buddha Sutras, just getting their take again on the sacred significance of 11:11. And just going through all of this, it just once you are gifted with the cipher, the key to understanding God's creation, God's truth, then everything just stands out like a sore thumb. It all just makes perfect sense. It all clear. So you read the Buddha Sutras, it's very little different from reading the Bible. Once you have the cipher, you just go, wow. It's virtually, just different traditions, because these are different geographical regions. And of course, that's wonderful. It's wonderful. That's why Buddhism and Hinduism and Zoroastrianism and the religion of Islam is just so perfect. They're all so perfect, and it's so wonderful that they're all a little different, because it provides a bigger picture and a wide fabric that we can weave together into synthesize it into holistic, beautiful creation of God's tale. And again, this is why the purpose in life is when you come to womanhood or manhood, the process is that you need to go. You have to become the prodigal son. You do have to go through this journey, the prodigal son, to leave the home, and then we wander. And we wander upon this path. And the trick, of course, is it's just a perfect metaphor, and it's the metaphor of Jesus Christ learning to become Christ Jesus within the pages of the Bible. That's why Jesus was in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights and being sorely tempted by Satan. I always like to say Lucifer, because, again, it is the false light. It's the light out there versus the light within you. And that's what Luciferianism is. So when Jesus goes into the desert, it's the same thing. He's the prodigal son. He's left home. And now the question is, as I go everywhere and experience everything, do I do it through the left brain or the right brain? Because the left brain, there's no access to the third ventricle, so there's no access to God. So it's godless. The left brain is godless. The right hemisphere is God. It is God. And remember, the right brain, when we've completed our journey, what exists within the right hemisphere of the brain? Well, there's God in his mercy seat, and right next door to God in the claustrum is the sacred saintly claustrum is alchemist. Alchemy is created within the claustrum of our brain. All of our blood, all of our corpuscles, essentially all of our white blood cells, and therefore the bones, everything of massive importance, our entire endocrine system is created and maintained by the claustrum. So that's why it is so saintly and sacred, is this claustrum, because Al the chemist just works nonstop, making these perfect tinctures for us to remain healthy. But we need a vaccine. No, you don't need a vaccine ever. Ever. You don't need anything out there from the hands of man. We just get it all wrong all the time. Wow. No, you just need what's inside of you, because what's inside of you is God, and that's right all the time. It always has been, and it's always there, and it's always free. There's no charge. There's no massive manual. It's all relatively simple for us to understand and use, because that's the way God's creation is. So this is the backstory to the episode today, 11:11. God is calling you, pick up the receiver. So when you look at their creation, and we are attacked from the moment that we were born, and instead of going on the journey of the prodigal son, and like I said, it's a journey to learn all of these different cultures and embrace the best of all of these different cultures, because every culture has just ultimate wisdom, and they have bad habits. It's the nature of man, and so you sort of separate the wheat from the chaff, right? Why has that metaphor existed since antiquity? Because that's the whole purpose to life. The wheat and the chaff. What's the wheat? Right brain. What's the chaff? Left brain. Right? So again, you start to look at the game of baseball, and you just begin to see baseball is wheat and chaff. It's separating the wheat from the chaff. And so you just got to stay on the path that is straight and narrow, and you just got to follow the baseline, and you got to just follow the fourfold nature of man: first base, second base, third base, home plate. They're all shaped like diamonds. They're all shaped like diamonds. Just stay on the diamond path of baseball. That's the infield. Yeah, you're not even allowed to go run around in the outfield when you're on offense. You have to stay within the infield. Yeah, so just stay on the straight and narrow path, the path of the diamond path in the infield. And so everybody's just like, so Kevin Costner, by the way, Kevin Costner is a good guy. You're not going to see him ending up in Gitmo and having his head lopped off for drinking kids' bloods. Kevin Costner is a good guy, and that's why he went from the biggest name in Hollywood by doing just these incredible, and had to do them on his own dime, by the way, as well. Used his early fame and fortune, and largely he put up his money and went around tirelessly to find the rest of investors to be able to do Dances with Wolves. And he was richly rewarded for it. And then, from Hollywood, there was just nothing for him. So he went on to his next project, Waterworld, which is a fantastic movie. But of course it isn't, because critics told you it wasn't. And when that movie, even before it came out, they were telling you how bad it was, and that then the opening weekend when it came out, they were telling you that nobody was going to see it because it's one of the worst movies ever made and stuff. And of course, that's how the average sheeple of the masses is and are. Oh, thank you. Thank you for freaking lying to me, you piece of dung. Thank you. I really appreciate that, because you're a movie critic. Are you? Or do you work for the CIA? Yeah, that's what the CIA domestically is. Domestically, the CIA made up the biggest, most powerful names in television. Ask anyone. We've been asked not to say the name, so obviously we won't. But right out of the blue, about 6 weeks ago, somebody phoned Colleen's cell phone, which is kind of remarkable because it's a Mexican number, and we don't really give it out much to anyone. And there's a phone call. It's from New York City. New York City? I'm not going to have my spicy sauce from New York City. So there's a phone call on the cell phone from New York City. So, we picked it up, and it's an actor. It's an actor who has played in some very big movies and made for TV movies as well. And they were just reaching out to us saying, my God, how do you know the stuff that you know? How are you seeing all of this? How are you getting this big picture? Because if you read this, if you read that, it's really, really, really not there for most people to figure out and put things together. And it's just like, it's meditation. It's just the trust. It's just, no one has ever come to us and said, this is Charlie. Charlie, this is how it is. Charlie, you must listen to me. This is how it is. No, Colleen and I have had to do everything from the grassroots level. We have had to separate the wheat and the chaff ourselves, which we should. Everyone should. It's beautiful. It's just wonderful that it all happened organically like that. And so that's what the nature of the call was, just like, how do you know the things that you know? And are you willing to listen to more things, or do you have now that you have a bit of a following, do you have an ego and only you know the truth and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I myself can do nothing. I myself and have proven time and time again that I am a fool, a foolish prodigal son. So that's why I came home, and I'm not leaving. Charlie ain't leaving this home with collywogging and the animals and connected to God. No way, no way. They'll never, ever, ever change. This is because this is heaven on earth. This constant connection to God, which is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you how to do it, and you're going to do it. You're going to do it. The proof is in the pudding. So he said, well, that's really good, because he said, tons of it, but I can help you in these areas. And I said, please do. And so we've just been having a series of amazing conversations. And so much of his knowledge is by living within the system and having been read into many things. And especially in the area of things like the maritime admiralty laws and how that relates via the Jesuits and the Catholic Church, and how they have been behind everything in organized society, and they are. The Catholic Church is not like the Vatican City. So there's the three towers, the three unholy towers of the unholy trinity of the cabal, and that is Vatican City, and then it is, of course, London, and then it's Washington, D.C. And people typically look at this and they go, well, Washington is the military might and London is the financial might, and that's correct, or was for London, but their power has been taken away from them. And then the third is that, the sort of religious, spiritual end of things is in Vatican City. No. They're the great deceiver, and they have nothing to do with God. They have nothing to do with teaching you the truth about Jesus Christ becoming Christ Jesus. They don't teach truth. They teach lies. And of course, everything that the Catholic Church is designed to control and own your mind, all for this promise of a future gift. And it's the gift that you're going to get. Oh, yeah, you're going to get. And those rich people and those rich, powerful people, they'll get theirs, and you'll get yours. Because the meek shall inherit the earth, but only after you die. That's right. That's small print. You didn't need to read that part. Just sign here. And that's sort of what people do blindly. And again, the show next week, episode 18, 2 hours exclusively just on the truth of who is Jesus Christ. And a lot of people are not going to like that show, but it is the absolute truth. So you do with it what you will, but it is the absolute truth. And again, Jesus Christ doesn't exist, never existed. Christ Jesus is the most powerful human figure ever to have existed, and is exactly who we need to be. Charlie, wait a minute. I call foul. What the heck is the difference between Jesus Christ and Christ Jesus? It sounds to me like you're saying the same thing. No, it's completely backwards. Therefore, it's completely upside down. Therefore, it is completely different. What they sell you is a complete lie. There's nobody named Jesus wandering around the Holy Land 2,000 years ago with Juan and Pablo and all these other Puerto Rican gentlemen in the Holy Land 2,000 years ago. Yeah, no, didn't happen. Was there Yeshua? For sure. Yeshua, Essay, John the Baptist and Krishna and Buddha and Muhammad. To deny these things, you're lying to yourself, and only a fool lies to themselves. Of course, there are these Christed, sacred people who listen to the Bible, have listened to sacred teachings, have meditated, who have gone inside, climbed the ladder of the true superhighway, which is the chakra system, because the spine only gets you so far, it only gets you 33, and then you're stuck. This is what all of these Freemasons find out when they get to 33. I want more. Well, you don't believe in God, so there really is no more. Sorry, we lied to you. And you have to go the superhighway of the chakra system, and then that takes you to the top. And then when these people get there, like myself, when you can make this connection to God, you'll never, ever, 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 ever give it up. Never, ever, ever give it up. Why would you? It's perfection. It's just and I want this for all of you. If I can do it, the complete fool, the dancing fool doing the wrong dance of you know, the false Charlie becoming Charlie Freak. Yeah, Freak Charlie becoming Charlie Freak. Yeah, Jesus Christ becoming Christ Jesus. This is what it's all about, and that's what the show next week will entirely be, for 2 hours. And for those that have an open mind and are prepared to listen, you're going to be blown away. You're going to be blown away because it is so easily provable. And of course, it's in every single page of the Old Testament, the New Testament, of the Quran, of the Bhagavad Gita, the Buddhist Sutras. It's everywhere. The Upanishads, the Vedas, the Upanishads, it's everywhere. They're all talking about the same story. They're all talking about the same story. Lao Tzu, Taoism, even the teachings of Confucianism, they're all simply talking about this one story. And that is the journey from Jesus Christ to Christ Jesus. And it is just beautiful. So, okay, so this is the basis. So we got this incredible phone call from this, you know, famous New York actor, and just wants anonymity, and is teaching us so many, you know, great things. I call them down the rabbit hole truths, and in return, what we're sharing is these higher truths, God's truths, and it's a beautiful friendship, it's a beautiful relationship, and it's a beautiful symbiosis, and you know, that's the kind of thing as well. And we had an amazing situation. There was a lady from Washington, D.C., and her name is, and I won't say anything more than that, but her name was Gwen. And Gwen was consistently sending messages to Colleen, basically saying that, you know, I just desperately need to, I mean, we get that a lot, where people are asking, we just desperately do our best. But, you know, remember, folks, I have to make, so does Colleen, but I have to make my portion of dog. Our dogs are vegan, and I have to make 2 portions of their food a day. And sometimes I'm not finishing their second portion of food until 1, 2 in the morning, as I take a break from working on all of the podcasts, and I go and just enter the meditation of making their food and whatnot. So I had a phone call with a wonderful friend of ours from Bali, and they're exactly 12 hours ahead or behind. I think behind us, but doesn't matter. Works out to the same thing. So when it's nighttime here, it's daytime there. So to make things easier for them, I simply said, yeah, you know, we could do it at, I think it was 1 in the morning here, because I'm up till 4, 5, 6, you know, every single day. So I said, you know, not a problem. So yeah, so we had, and it's an amazing friend, a wonderful conversation. And it's just, and again, it all starts by a person just wanting to reach out and say thank you, and then desperately, you know, talk about a few things and some specific things, and so we just try to do that for everyone. So this lady named Gwen from Washington D.C., and she's just like, I am in the center of hell. I know this, and I have children, and I'm just literally being tortured with everything that's going on. And I hear just nothing but things about Donald Trump, but I just have this feeling inside of me that you know, what he's saying is true. And then a friend mentioned your work to me, and I watched one thing of yours, and it's just like changed my life. And so I just, please, can you tell me, can you assure me that all of this is true? Like why is this allowed to continue? And just please help and settle my mind. And so we had a wonderful 2-hour conversation when I have a gajillion things to do, but there's nothing more important than that 2-hour conversation. And it was the most amazing conversation. And Gwen, this lady who has been lied to her entire life, and, you know, has been tricked into playing this game of, you know, a motherhood at an early age, and, you know, and then everyone and everything in society leaves you behind, and you're just left alone to fend for yourself and your children without any truth, and everyone lying to you. It's just tragic beyond description, and it just goes right to our hearts. So we reached back to Gwen, and it was a brilliant conversation, and she just intuitively, naturally, possesses such such wisdom and such intellect. And that's what she kept saying. And the whole conversation is, you know what? I sort of already knew these things. They were inside. I just needed to trust myself. Exactly. Because when you trust what's inside of you, that's you and God. That's intuition. That's telepathy. Intuition and telepathy are the 6 and 7 senses. Those are the 6 and 7 chakras. Those chakras are above the blood-brain barrier. They are in the mind. That is heaven upon earth. And that's where you need to be. You need to do everything. So when we use that left brain, we only use the left brain through the right brain. We only use it through the higher mind. We don't desperately go into the left brain because it'll lead us up. And Cain will eventually kill Abel, and then Cain will eventually, because he kills so much, Cain will eventually come to eat Abel. Cain, Abel, Cainable, cannibal. Cannibalism is Cain ate Abel, and all that means is left brain will devour the right brain. And that's why, how do you know that good old Charlie's telling you the truth? It's what we're finding out, isn't it? That's exactly what they do with our beautiful children. And that's exactly what they do. So let's get started in earnest, because all of you, there's literally been well over 1,000 people that have reached out to us with multiple paragraphs of information that I need to read, and I've read every single one, and there are just saying, and what typically you find with people who are constantly seeing 1111, what they're constantly seeing as well, or seeing as well, are 222 or 22 or 333, 33, 444, 555. You're seeing triplets. And that is just so massive and massively important. It just tells you that you're on the right path. You're doing the right things when you begin to see these numbers. So that's the first thing I want to share. When you're seeing 1111, it means that you have been doing the work to awaken your inner world. And as soon as you awaken your inner world, and it is tingling because it is alive, those are sending signals. Even if you're not consciously aware of them, you're sending signals to the optic thalamus. That's the very center of you, the third ventricle of the brain. Okay, pineal gland is up and to the right, attached to the optic thalamus, but it's up and to the right. Pituitary gland is down and to the left, connected to it. Just below the optic thalamus is the hypothalamus, where is the chamber where you know the body of Jesus is laid to rest for 2.5 days, and as it turns out, that is the chrismal is laid to rest there for 2.5 days. This is that magic mind. This is the third ventricle of your brain, and right above it, where that chimney is the mercy seat of God. So that's where God is as well. And when you begin to awaken to your inner self, you begin to send these little frequencies back to the homing pigeon, which is your home. And remember, home is where the heart is. And what does heart mean? This is one of the biggest lies that they've ever taught and told us, and they perpetuate it everywhere. And this is the center of this fake spiritualism, this new age spiritualism that is everywhere. And if you're a teacher of new age spiritualism, you've got 1.2 million subscribers and blah, 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 blah. But if you teach the truth, you got about 11 subscribers or something, because it just, this guy, Charlie, he's demanding. These other new age spiritualists, they're great. Everything's just airy fairy, and it's all, we don't need to work. Yeah, you need to work. You need to work hard. It's all about doing the work, because do you have oil in your lamp? Next week's show on Jesus, the show is going to start with the song. The song is the Byrds doing that ancient Christian hymn, Oil in Your Lamp. It's great hymn. It's great song. And it is the basis to everything. Do you have oil in your lamp? And the only way you can have oil in your lamp is if you do the work. Okay? You can't be part of the Catholic Church signing a card guaranteeing to pay 10% to the church for the rest of your life, and in return, they are admitting you into heaven when you die. And you can sin all you want. That's okay. because what they teach Catholics, and this is not just Catholics, this is all the Protestant religions as well. So this is Baptists, Anabaptists, Methodists, every variation of Western Christianity is just taking the essence of Catholicism and then making a few subtle little changes. But all the major things, it's all Catholicism. And Catholicism is all done by the order of Jesus, which is the Jesuits. And do you know who the most evil people in the history of evil are? They're the Jesuits. The Jesuits are responsible for the worst things. The Jesuits are the ones that came up with this idea of taking the chrism oil and this resurrection upon high and taking it by force by harvesting the pineal gland, pituitary gland, and the adrenal glands of children by torturing them, skinning them alive, and then taking these secretions while they're still alive, and then killing them, and then preparing them specially through this process called spirit cooking so that you eat them. But what you're eating of them, you're eating the body of them, you're eating the soul. And so they do these witches like Michael Maxwell, who is now known as Marina Abramovic, but it's a guy. It's a guy. Michael Maxwell is the firstborn of Robert Maxwell, is the brother to Ghislaine Maxwell. Robert Maxwell's first son, Michael, is Marina Abramovic. And then what she does is she teaches all of these. Lady Gaga, that's what Lady Gaga is becoming. You know, the pop star thing is just, for the masses. So that's the backstory to all of this, and the necessity for staying virtuous, being virtuous, and staying in the right hemisphere of the brain. Because when you see the 11:11, it's a message. 11:11 is the ultimate representation of the two temples. Two temples on the left, two temples on the right. And in between, the two dots are the representing, so you have 11:11 is the Father, and then you have the Mother, and you have the Child. So you have the Holy Trinity in between that. And what's in between, protected in between the great strength of the Father, is the Mother and the Child, so that the Mother can born the child and can nurture the child into a perfect life. And that's the symbology of this 11:11. So everything, that's why people are seeing in triplets. So, Charlie, by the way, if I'm seeing, why am I seeing 222, 333, 444, 555? I'm just seeing these numbers in triplets all the time. Exactly. Because the truth of truths is that what must happen is the prodigal son, it's time to come home. All of us, prodigal daughter, prodigal son, it's time for us to come home. And coming home is connecting the family together once again. And the family is, because this is what the Phoenicians, the Cabal, have done to us. We're scattered everywhere. So God is hidden away up in the mercy seat. We are out of our bodies. We're out of our minds. That's, by the way, that's what that expression means. We're out of our minds. That's right. Left brain, you're out of your mind. Mind's not the brain. Remember that. The mind is not the brain. Your mind is the third ventricle of the brain, which is that innermost, centermost portion of empty space. The scientists are just going, there's nothing there. Well, the optic nerve for our vision goes through the middle of it, but other than that, it doesn't do anything. It's just an empty space. We don't know why it's there. Oh yeah, they do. What they don't tell you and how they lie to us, well, those are books. Those are massive books. So the mind is your magic mind. The mind is the third ventricle of your brain. You can't get there from the left. Only way you can get there is to the right. That's why everything they do is to get you out there. Vote. This is the only way to make your life better. What? No. Connect to God. Inside, your reality. Outside changes. That's the only way. The only way to change your physical reality is by first changing your mana physical reality. Mana, the gift of God. And it's not food. God doesn't send you an apple. Well, that would be nice. But, most people will go, hey, you got any Kentucky Fried Chicken? I'd like that better. And by the way, you got a bucket of it? and some Coke, that would be awesome. No, manna is not solid. Manna comes from the metaphysical world, which is incorporeal. There's no solidity to it. Even in our world, the further you go in, what do you find out? There's no solidity to our world. It appears that way because everything, as Tesla said, if you want to understand our world of energy, then you just need to know frequency and vibration. And like I say, pulses, because vibrations are electric, pulses are magnetic. So everything is frequencies, and frequencies are either electrical vibrations or magnetic pulses. That's what our world is. Energy, which is frequencies, which are either vibrations or pulses. So that is our reality, and that is invisible. Of course it's invisible. It's the invisible world. That's why that great podcast that I did about the brain, and you should, if you haven't watched it twice, you should watch it and share it and share it and share it. Anyone can learn from that video, and that's the truth. How are you going to help yourself right now to pick up the phone? I'm going to say this throughout the video, and I'm going to end the podcast today with this as well. Rewatch that podcast. That's how you learn to pick up the phone, because by your breathing is the simplest, quickest way to be able to pick up the receiver. There actually is a cord. That's the silver cord that comes down out of the ether. You can't see it in the sky, but it's there. Each one of us have this silver lining. Did you see the silver lining in the clouds? Did you get, that's because that expression relates to the fact that no matter how bad we just screwed up, no matter how big of a problem we just created for ourselves, you see the silver lining in everything. Well, the silver lining is the silver line that connects you to God, and it goes straight, and you can't see it in the sky, and it goes straight down into the very center of your head, which is the third ventricle, and it continues down the brain stem, and it becomes the basis to the brain stem, and it's the basis to your spine. So that's why everything, what you see when it relates to the Bible, everything in the Bible is about the Holy Land. And the Holy Land is from the Dead Sea to the Sea of Galilee. What do we say that? That's the sacrum to the crown of the skull. So once again, that is the torso of the human being. That's what this is all about, because everything is about energy, energy, frequencies, vibrations, and pulses. And they run from the sacrum to the crown of the head. It's the chakras, right? It's the chakras. 6 in-body chakras. That's why the number 6 is the journey of man. Up the body to the highest in-body chakra, which is the third eye chakra, Ajna. And once we illuminate it via the portal, we then enter the portal to visit God. What happened to Jacob in the Bible? Genesis 32:30. Met God in a place called pineal. That pineal is the portal to the other world. And then we connect with God in God's presence, which is, not like some white dude with a beard. It doesn't work that way. It means that we transform into our essence, which is just consciousness. Soul. We are the soul of God's soul. So we're all share the same father. We all share the same mother. We're all brothers and sisters. It's just so beautiful. And so to pick up this call, 1111, that's the first thing you need to do. It just starts with your breathing. Literally. See how easy this is? So the very first thing is learning to control your breathing. Remember what I said in that podcast? And you just need to listen to these podcasts, really, really listen and focus and pay attention, because every word has value. It has purpose. It's there for a reason. And I said to you, for the first while, put Post-its everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, put up stickers and reminding you. I'm not joking. Where do you spend your time? If it's in front of the fridge or in the mirror or TV, whatever it is, wherever you go, put stickers, constantly reminding yourself to breathe. That's not cheating. That's wisdom. That's being wise. Remind yourself, because that's all you have right now are bad habits. Make good habits. Change your habits. And the only way you change your habits is repetition. And so sometimes in the beginning, we have to remind ourselves with little Post-it notes. Yeah. So just post the good news, post the truth all around you. Tattoo it on you if you need to. It's just messages. Everything is symbology. So remind yourself, breathe. Number one thing, you want to answer this message. Ricky, don't lose that number. Ricky made the call. Now God is calling back, and it flashes on your screen, 1111, because that's what God is. God is one. God is A, alpha. God is 11, the Mastar number, the Mastar, which is, again, the twin temples that protect the innermost centrality. And again, I diverted, earlier from that. But again, home is where the heart is. What does heart mean? Heart means centrality. Just look it up. Do your own etymology. You must begin to do etymology every day. Every time you come across a key word, stop. Go to your etymology site. We use Eddie Online, and it's a great one. And then you just start doing. So don't look at dictionaries, because dictionaries are just going to lie to you, because dictionaries just give you these new meanings of these words that are 100, 150, 300 years old. But you go past that to Latin and to Greek, which almost always lead to the Proto-Indian, and right then to the Sanskrit, the basis to all of our wisdom, Sanskrit. And that's the true meaning of the word. And what you're going to find is what they're teaching us now is upside down. Like I said last week in the podcast, and I was doing the Bad Company song, Electric Land, and you live for the moment, and the moment is fine. Well, fine's not good enough. I don't want fine. I want greatness. I don't want fine. And by the way, if I do something wrong, I get a fine. So fine has been turned into this horrible word, because it's like mediocrity, just fine. And if you do something wrong, you get a fine. But then you do etymology on the word fine. And what do you find out about fine? It means the highest high. And what is the highest high? That connection to God. So fine, there's nothing higher. And you live for the moment is fine. Do you see how brilliant that is by Paul Rogers? Do you see how brilliant that is? You live for the moment is fine. Has the only way you can find God and become fine is the moment. You can't be trapped in the past or the future that don't exist. That's a left-brain lie. That's the wrong crown of Saturn. That's the Chronos crown, which turns Saturn into Satan. We need the right Saturn crown, because remember, Saturn is us. Don't get confused by this, and Saturn is the devil and evil and 666 is evil. No, it's a choice. There's the right Saturn and the wrong Saturn. The right Saturn is Christ, Jesus, wearing the purple crown. The wrong Saturn is Kronos, and he wears this evil crown of linear time. He controls through the myth and the live linear time. You worry and fret about you focus and fret about all the things you did wrong in the past, and you're completely controlled by worrying about what's coming in the future, because you got everything wrong in the past, and you miss the only thing that truly exists, which is right here, right now. And when you are truly in the now, that's God. And you can meditate. When you're in the now, you can pick up the phone call, 1111. 1111 is flashing, pick up the call. See, the thing you need to remember is that when you see 1111, and a lot of times the power goes out and people see 1111, there's no such thing as a coincidence. God makes all of these things happen in your life. That's how powerful and brilliant and tapped into you God is. Absolutely, because he exists inside of you. He exists inside of me. He exists inside of all of us. He can do that. It's amazing. So, but it also shows you how much he loves you and how much the desire is to connect and just become best pals, just become best friends, and just shoot the breeze, shoot the bull. What, we're going to go get guns and shoot a bull and then eat it? Good bull. Delicious. No. You don't kill God's creations. You don't kill life to then eat dead, rotting flesh to have health. That's insanity. Think about it. You murder and eat death to have life? Where are you? Who are you and where are you? Like I'm not judging, because for a little while in my life I did it too, but thankfully I woke up early and just went, this is insanity. And it is insanity just on that basis alone. Even if you don't have any higher wisdoms, it's complete insanity. To live and have health, you don't murder, You don't torture. And by the way, do you see what they do to animals? How it mimics what we've now found out they're doing to our children? So do you see that? You're not going to like this. Colleen says this all the time, and we've sort of held it back, but I'm going to release it here, I think, for the first time. And tell you this, but Collywog speaks to this all the time, and she's 100% right. And that is that what we're doing to animals is the same thing that we're doing to our children, harvesting adrenochrome. Think about it, the comparison between the two. What do we do to these precious animals? We are capturing them, we are torturing them, we are desecrating them, and then of course we are killing them, and we are skinning them, and we are using their skin to for clothing for ourselves in the form of leather or suede. And the reason we do this is because we think in this physical realm that by doing this to these animals, it's okay because they give us health. And again, this process is horrific, to say the least. And then eating diseased, dead, rotting flesh under the belief that it is somehow going to give you health and life is absolutely insane. It's completely backwards. And what we're doing to the animals is just flat out wrong. And it does. It absolutely mimics what they're doing to our children in the harvesting of adrenochrome. And like I said, where we live here in Mexico, out in the country, taking care of all of these animals, we're surrounded by cows. And right now, the cows are all let out of their fields, and they're just grazing. And what we could have done, Colleen and I could say that we don't want them on our property because, and they all like to hang out around our house. I don't know why, but they do. And they poop a lot, and they pee a lot, and they make big messes. And I need to clean up their messes like I need another hole in my head. But what's the alternative? If we tell the farmers to get them out of our larger land here around our home, then they have to go back out to where the road is. And this is a road that goes through the countryside, and these bigger trucks are transporting things like animals to and from slaughter. And they use it, and they drive fast, and there's a lot of accidents occur because these Mexicans, boy, they like to drive fast. That's why there are speed bumps everywhere in Mexico. You wonder why there have to be, because if there weren't speed bumps everywhere in Mexico, the Mexicans would be going 110 miles an hour down a street with 400 children playing on it. It's just unbelievable, but that's how they drive. So you have to have these speed bumps everywhere. And where we are in the country, no speed bumps. So they just go crazy fast. So what we do, it's a small thing, it's not that big of a deal, but we just allowed these farmers to allow the cows, and there's a lot of them, to just roam around inside, and because the whole area is all fenced off. And then we have a gate, the access, which is about 400 meters from to that road, to that sort of countryside road, to then where our house is. We have a gate there, and so it's all protected. And so all the cows and the horses, and they bring their horses too, and donkeys, and then the mulos. Mulos are like half horse, half donkey, and they're very wonderful as well. And so they're all just wandering about. And I think maybe because we're nice people and we bring out lots of our watermelon, right? Well, we use, actually now we're pretty much using all of the watermelon for the dogs as well. So there's not much, but banana peels and pineapple skins, and so all the fruit and veggies that we're using for ourselves and the animals, we're giving to the horses, and then we're giving to all of these animals that are just grazing and roaming around free as well. So they love to be around us, and there's a lot of poop, and I have to clean. Ay caramba. But it is what it is, and the thing is, I have to do it because it's the right thing to do. I have to do it, because if I said no and they're sort of grazing on either side of that road and even one of them got hurt, I couldn't live with myself. Couldn't live with myself. I don't want to be that person. And so if it means that I just have to work and work, work and work and work and just learn to live without sleep, that's far better than sacrificing my essence and who I am. So I give you that story because this thing about meditation and this thing about answering the phone call 1111 is that you got to get righteous. So it starts with breathing. It totally is. And then it's the food that we eat. So you want to live long, you want to live forever, you want to have health, you don't want to get sick, but you're participating in a system that tortures, mutilates, murders, and then allows the flesh to sit and rot for a while, and then you cook it and ingest it, and then you're wondering why everyone's dying at 50 and 60. And when I tell people that you should be living to a minimum of 1,000 years, most people just laugh and they just say, see, you're just such a clown. You're just such an idiot. No, people live to about 80, maybe 100 kind of thing. You know, that's us. You know, the cells, they run out of their fuel and they just die. We just die. That's what we do. And it's like, wow, I just feel so sorry. I wish I was smarter. I wish I was better at speaking. I wish that I did all of this better so that I could be a better teacher for everyone. I really do. I just wish that I could get more of this commonsensical truth and wisdom of God through to people. And I'm trying to get better in everything that I'm doing here. Because it just one person just going off the deep end, which is, you know, the pit of hell, the left brain, it's just more than I can bear. So I really, Colleen and I, we just care. Maybe we care a bit too much, but it is what it is. We are who we are. We care. And so food is just so important, because right now, even if meat, dairy, and eggs were the greatest things in the history of the world to consume, we still have to stop using them because of what we're doing. But you see, that's not how God works. It's not, it's great and you have to stop using it. No, meat, dairy, and eggs, there's nothing worse that you can ingest because they're the most acidic foods. They're the most acidic substances that exist. So it's just pure hell. It's just pure evil when you ingest this crap. So you have to stop. And like, what did I teach everyone about cheese? Cheese is so bad for you, and that's just simply because it comes from milk, but it's just milk. Cow's milk is just not overly concentrated. But to make cheese, that's all they do, is that they take 60 cups of milk to make 1 kilo of cheese. So you see how concentrated it is? So in a glass of milk, it's bad for you, but it's not heavily concentrated. Do you know what cheese is? It's just concentrated milk. That's what it is. And so everything that's bad, milk's very bad for you, very bad. I mean, baby cows stop eating it after a few months. And all it does is it takes them from birth at about 60 kilos to about 400 kilos, and then they stop. Nobody, no animal mammal drinks their mother's milk past a finite period of time. It's there for a purpose, but except for humans. And so we have to torture these dairy cows forever because we need to be drinking cow's milk forever. What? And the thing that's amazing is, how do you not see that that's crazy? That's more crazy than drinking the cow's milk, is the fact that most people can't see that that's just freaking insane, right? No cow drinks cow's milk past 4 months. It just takes them from 60 to 400 kilos. So what's in it? Well, something that makes you grow fat in a big hurry. What's the number one problem in the Western world? So the Eastern world, they're skinnier than a blade of grass, Well, that's just Charlie. That's just because they can't grow anything there. Holy wow! Do you know how much water is in Africa? Do you know how much water? It's so simple. Just it's underneath the surface. Why? Because it's really hot. If it was on the surface, it would just evaporate away. So God, in his ultimate wisdom, put it underneath the ground to protect it. But it's all there. Yeah, but no, it's not because I can't see it. Oh, that's how it works, hey? So that again, that's why chakras don't exist, because you can't see chakras. Okay, do thoughts exist? Well, yeah, I learned that in school. Where are they? Well, they're inside the head. Okay, well, cut your head open right now and show me a thought. Well, I don't think you can. I don't think you can see thoughts, although they might leave an imprint on your brain, maybe. I don't really know. That's right, you don't know anything because you went to school. And that's the last place we need to be going is school. No. The prodigal son journeying across the earth, meeting every single culture, the Bedouin traveling, seeking riches, which is the wisdom of God through the learning of other people. We just share our wisdom and our knowledge with everyone. That's school. Travailing Mother Earth is school in search of the Father. That's school. Going to a physical building that acts and looks like a prison? The only thing more insane than that is how we don't see how insane that is, right? The only thing that's more insane about eating cheese is that we don't see that eating cheese is just completely insane. So 60 cups of milk to make 1 kilo of cheese. Okay, how does the human body deal with cheese when it enters into the system? The brain doesn't know what to do with it because it's not real food. All these processed foods aren't real, so the brain doesn't really know. Al the chemist doesn't know what to do. By the way, Al the chemist in the saintly sacred colostrum is Santa Claus, right? Saintly colostrum, Santa Claus. Alchemist, Al the chemist, alchemist, alchemy inside of you is Santa Claus inside of you. And he gives you presents. You just have to be a good girl and good boys and girls get the presents. Yeah, good, not evil. That's what's being said. It's not a big stretch, right? All the presents are for those little boys and girls and adults who are good. Hillary Clinton looks like an ad for death because there's no good in her. Bill Clinton, yike. Look at all of these evil people, and they all, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, they're the ugliest people you've ever seen in your life. Look at how all these Hollywood stars, as they grow older, why do you think they all hide themselves and have all of these surgeries? Because what's happening to them is they're turning into what they are, which is hell on earth, and they look like hell. You ever seen a picture of Johnny Depp? He's so handsome. Really? You ever seen a picture of Johnny Depp now? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's ugly. That is ugly. So we just lie to it every turn. So what does the brain do when cheese enters? So processed foods. It doesn't know what to do with it. So it has to receive them somewhere. So guess what the brain in its wisdom does is that the cheese, when it enters into our system, it treats it as the same way it treats heroin. And it receives it with the same heroin receptors that it does with narcotics, in particular heroin. And so that is how cheese is greeted within the body, with the brain secreting heroin receptors to receive. Because then Al the chemist, this is what you do to Santa Claus all the time. Every time you eat these crappy foods, Al the chemist has to do something with them. Because what school doesn't teach you, what modern science doesn't teach you, is that, you see, when you eat like a pizza, and what have they done? They've taken all the vegetables off the pizza. And it wouldn't matter anyways, because it's cooked for 40 minutes underneath 400, 500 degree temperatures. So any life that was in that vegetable is gone. So it doesn't matter, but they've taken them out anyway. So a pizza is now pepperoni. By the way, you want to hear some more horrific news? We haven't shared this with anyone yet, but in the last 20 years, they've really specialized in pizza. And now in the store, you can just buy slices of pepperoni pizza because people like eating pizza so much at home. And so you can just buy like these big 2-3 kilo bags of just pepperoni, pepperoni sliced up into little slices. And so it's all ready for you to go and eat. Yeah, you know what they're finding in that? Just like, yeah, that's right, McDonald's, that's right, just like McDonald's, burgers and Wendy's. And yeah, they're finding human fetus tissue in these big, big bags of pizza pepperoni. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The huddled masses, the sheeple, that they act like sheep, act like animals, and they get treated like animals. And they're giving you. By the way, what do they feed our animals with? You know this is the truth. You don't want to hear it, but you know it's the truth. What do? All the chickens that are dying because they're not allowed to move around, they don't get to see the sunlight, and they just live in absolute horror. They take all the dead chickens, they ground them up, and they make them into chicken feed. So your chickens that you're eating, I'm a good mom, I'm going to cook up a chicken breast for my little babies. And it's so good for them. It's so much better than red meat. Oh, I'm such a good parent because I feed fish and chicken instead of pork and red meat. I'm such a great parent. Here's your chicken breast. Right. So a chicken that is completely living in torture and full of despair, anguish, just wants to end, have their life end, and is living in a tortured reality filled with antibiotics, filled with growth hormones, filled with pus, and then the dead ones get ground up, and then that's their food. So then they're eating dead, their same species. They're eating the dead chickens that are all filled with all of this pus and everything else. These sick and diseased chickens, they just ground them all up, and then they make them eat it. By the way, that's what a hot dog is. Just in case you didn't know it, that's what a hot dog is. Oh boy, let's go to the ball game, get a beer and a hot dog, and let's just quickly die. Oof, bad habits, just not thinking, just asleep. Yike, yike, yike. So it's your breathing, it's your food. We're frugivores, 100%. You must eat living foods to have life. So you want to connect pick up the phone to God, you have to be eating the proper foods. When you're sick and diseased, you're not worthy of that phone call, and you're not going to be able to figure out a way in which to get to a place to pick up. Where's the phone booth? It's in the right hemisphere of your brain. And again, you don't have to be, so Charlie, but I've never really successfully meditated. Don't be afraid. It'll all start, the messages will begin, the transmission of your messages with God will begin even before you're into full-blown meditation. Just breathing. But again, you have to be alkaline. You have to be over to the right hemisphere of the brain. You can't be in the right brain if you're participating in this system of murdering all of these animals for meat, dairy, and eggs. And they're the worst foods you could possibly eat. Like I said, with cheese, that's exactly how your brain treats it when it enters into the body. So why do they encourage cheese on everything? And why do pizzas now have cheese in the crust and double cheese, triple cheese? And in fact, I don't even want any of the other stuff. Just give me a cheese pizza. I just want the cheese. In fact, I don't even want the crust anymore. Get rid of the crust and figure out a way that you can just solidify the bottom of the cheese, and I'll just have the entire pizza cheese. Why are we so addicted to cheese? Because it's freaking heroin. Because it's crack cocaine. That's not me making anything up. That's the truth. That's the truth. And there are all sorts of doctors and even some institutions that are putting out reports on this, and they get squashed, and then they're forced to take them down because they get a lawsuit from what? The meat, dairy, and egg industries. How dare you? How dare you? And then you put that on Facebook and it gets taken down because you breach Facebook protocols. Right? Because your post is dangerous. That's what I get when I'm once again in a 7-day jail in Facebook again. And what do they always say? Because Charlie, you're dangerous. That's right. That's right. I'm dangerous to you, though. Not them, you. I'm dangerous to Facebook. I'm dangerous to that which owns Facebook, which are the Phoenicians, which are those of the left brain, the Canaanites. So And that's what they take down because they can't exist. The few can't rule the many if the truth exists. There's no truth anywhere. So the thing with, again, with literalist Christians, just thinking that, well, they've lied to us about everything, and now we're finding out that the earth is flat, and oh my God, it was in the Bible. I don't know how I missed it. I'm just such a great Christian. I read my book, Jesus, 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 and I love Jesus, 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 and it's all about Jesus. I missed all those passages about flat earth. Yeah, that's funny. And firmament. And I don't know how I missed them. Yeah, I don't know how I missed them because you're not really reading it. You have somebody who's reading it to you, your pastor, and he gets paid. He gets paid by people that make sure that he teaches you the false truth. See, the Bible is pure truth, but it's all false if you try to read it literally. That's why the stories in the Old Testament are so ridiculously allegorical in nature. They're so over the top, crazy, ridiculous stories like Jonah and the whale or Samson and Delilah, so that no one in their right mind could ever believe that that's a literal story. But we do. Virtually all of us, yeah, it's all literal and real. And if you try to tell them that it's not, you're a kook and not, and you're going to hell and you're the devil and stuff. Wow. So again, why I tell you all of this is because the things I'm about to share with you now, you can't do unless you awaken to what I've taken the first hour and 10 minutes to tell you. That's why I have to tell you these things this way, because you have to make these changes first. Charlie, it doesn't work. I tried. Yeah, because you didn't make the changes first. So 1111, 1111 is the two temples that protects the innermost essence of you, which is the third ventricle of the brain. And that's who's all inside your head. Inside your head is God. Inside your head is his best friend, Santa Claus. Inside your head, if you raise him up, is Jesus Christ becoming Christ Jesus. So we are the Christed one if we do the work. So Christ Jesus is there. And to raise up in the body, we need the Kundalini magnetic energy, which rises in these eternal eights, these eternal scalar waves. What do you think free energy is? What do you think we're going to be turning to from this stupid electrical system that runs out and can be metered to a magnetic system? Because what is magnetism? It's not a circuit that has fuses that can blow. That person blew a fuse and he killed all those people, right? Because he's in his left brain. He is a left brain carnal monster, and he blew a circuit. He blew a fuse because he's in his electrical left brain. You go to your right brain, it's magnetic. Magnetism is a field. It's not a circuit. It's a field. You can't overload a field, because what is a field? It's everything. And so what is magnetism? It's everything. It fills in everything. It's 1,000,000 times more powerful than is electricity, and it's probably more than that. It's 1,000,000 times more powerful than electricity, and it fills everything up. So when you run your energy via magnetism, you don't have to worry about, well, I've got the stereo on, I've got air conditioners on, and I've got the blender on, and I've got my hair dryer on, and I'm going to blow a circuit. No, it's magnetism. It doesn't dissipate. There is no dissipation. You can have everything on forever, and it'll never run out, and it'll never blow a fuse, because it's a field. So why don't they teach magnetism in school? Because what did I tell you earlier? They can't teach truth. How do you think 13 families that are the original descendants of the left-brainers, the Canaanites, who got kicked out of the Holy Land for murder and eating bodies, how do you think these 13 evil families rule everybody else? Through lies. Everything they've taught us is a lie. Not some things, everything. If Donald Trump comes out tomorrow and Q tweets tomorrow about, the new space program, and Charlie, I think you're wrong about flat earth, and no, I'm not. No, I'm not. If you know human physiology, if you know anything about the sphenoid bone, you know that flat earth is in your head. Your head is the earth. See, it looks, it's like it's round and whatever. The sphenoid bone is that flat plane in the middle, and then above is heaven, because that's where the brain is, and below where your jaw, where we talk, and all of these useless words come out, that's hell. Heaven above, hell below. Sphenoid bone is flat middle earth, and it's all in your head. and the crown of your head is the firmament. Yeah, see, it's all inside of you. You know a little bit of human physiology. You know anything about the Holy Land, or the shape of the earth itself, and just look at it from aerial photographs. You just see everywhere you look. You see, there's no picture showing you the four walls of space. Why? Because there aren't four walls of space. There's only three walls, because it's faked. It's a movie. It's Hollywood. It's TV. It's not real. You can't, because there's no such thing as outer space. And there's no such picture of that's a real picture of us on the moon, because you can't. The moon's not something you can land on, right? So Trump already is sort of tweeted things that are hinting that, we need to go back to the moon and then permanently settle it and stuff. Yeah, Charlie, I think maybe you're wrong. No, that's not what he's talking about. You'll see. It can't be. Those are heavenly bodies of light. That's all it is. I was saying to you earlier, again, what are we? We're just, there's no such thing as subatomic particles, right? All we are cells, and cells are made up of molecules, and molecules can be seen. These tiny, and they're atoms. A for atom. Atom and Eve came first. Eve is just the feminine atom. It came first. And what is an atom? It's a point of light. What do you think the stars in the skies are? They're atoms. That's what the stars in the skies are. They're atoms. They're points of light of God. So what are we made up of? Our cells are made up of atoms. What are atoms? They're points of light of God. Isn't that amazing? As within, so without. As above, so below. So you see, the stars in the sky are the cells in you. And there's like trillions and trillions of stars in the sky. Yeah, because there's trillions and trillions of cells within you. See how that's what the Hermetic principle, as above, so below, as within, so without, as with the universe, so with the soul. It's not a cute saying. It doesn't work for some things, but not others. It's the way. It's everything. That's creation. So it works in all moments with all things. Everything that you see above you in the sky is happening inside of you. So there's a sun and there's a moon inside of you, and they're doing these patterns, and they're in love inside of you, and you just have to let them be together inside of you. So there's 12 apostles in the sky for the sun. The sun is the son of the sun, which is, the sun is Jupiter, and the son of the sun is Zeus, Jew-Zeus. Jupiter and Zeus is Jew-Zeus. That's where Jesus came from. Jew-Zeus, Jupiter and Zeus. Jesus is the son of the sun. And that's why Jesus has always been depicted as the sun in the sky, which is the son of the Creator, this golden sun, son of the sun. And that is a Greek mythology of Zeus. But in Western tradition, Zeus is Saturn. So you see, this is where Saturnian cultures come in. But the evil ones who are hidden, they use the wrong Saturn. So everybody demonizes. You go to a truth site, a big truther, and they'll tell you that just Saturn is evil. Of course it's not. We are Saturn. Here's the thing. There's two Saturns, just like there's a duality for everything. There's two of us, right brain, left brain. So then there's two Jesuses as well, like you see in the Bible, early in the Bible, when it's Jesus Christ. What does Jesus Christ constantly say? I myself can do nothing. Don't come to me looking for answers. I cannot save you. Only the one who sent me can save you, only by exalting yourself up to the Father. So it's all about God, but in this new religion of Western Christianity, it's all about Jesus. See? That's the Jesuits, the order of Jesus. The Jesuits created the concept of Jesus Christ. There's no such person as Jesus Christ. Now, I'm not being mean. I'm telling you the truth. And the thing is, that doesn't mean that there's no Jesus Christ. There is. It's just Christ Jesus. What's the difference? Christed Jesus. And the second doesn't matter what you want to call Jesus or Yeshua or Yeshua or S.A. It doesn't. The thing is the title. The title comes first. Christ means anointed one, but it means more than that. The literal Greek understanding of the word Christ is chrism, And chrism literally means anointed oil of the one. Who's the one? God. The anointed oil of God is the chrism, which is the Son of God, right? So don't you see this? The real Son of God is the chrism oil, and that's the real Son of God. Okay, so that's what's inside of you, and everything they teach you is upside down lie of what the truth is. They don't make up anything for themselves because they're left-brainers. They have no creativity. All the creativity is in the right hemisphere of the brain, which they don't go. So all they do is they take God's story and twist it. And so now what have we come? What do all the literal Christians absolutely hate? Show them a period. Devil, devil, devil. No, it's the most beautiful shape in the world. And the capstone, which is the all-seeing eye at the top of the pyramid, evil, evil, evil. No, it's your pineal gland. It's your third eye. It's you. It's the portal to God. It's everything. They just twist it and demonize it because bad people use it. That's all. They don't make so, and they get a kick out of this. They just do nothing. That's what our actor friend from New York was saying. They just get a kick out of how they make you fear and hate your very salvation, which is what we've always told you. We've always told you that. So 666, people make the 666 symbol, right? What does the Bible say itself? It's that of a man or a beast. It's a choice of the right brain. You are Christ Jesus. That is the highest. So people say, you hate Jesus and you deny that Jesus exists. No, there's no two people on this earth that love the real Jesus more than Colleen and I. People can love as much as we do, but nobody possibly could love and honor and respect Christ Jesus more than Colleen and I do. Because it's everything that we do is with Christ Jesus in mind. And everything that we try to be and goodly godly is all because of Christ Jesus. So no two people believe in, know, love, honor, cherish the real Jesus more than Colleen and I. So don't say that we're, evil satanic spun because, we don't think Jesus exists. No. We just happen to know the real Jesus exists, not the fake Jesus. Again, where does Jesus Christ come from? It only comes from one source. That's the Jesuits. The Jesuits are the worst monsters ever. They're the mafia. And they're the ones that created this literalization of some white dude, white Jesus, wandering around the whole. Wow, come on. So that's all we are beholden to do. Colleen and I, no matter what you think of it, we're only going to tell you the truth. That's it. We've never, ever shared anything with you that wasn't the whole truth. And that's because, how do we know that? Because everything that we share with you first has to go through the process of meditation. And that means it has to be approved by God first. It has to sit right with us inside. When it sits right and everything is beautiful and harmonious and balanced inside with us about these things that we learn, then we know it's the truth. And only then do we then share it with you. And that's how we absolutely know. And that's how you will know too. So 1111 is this God trying to call you. So remember what I said? You're awakening. By coming to Colleen and I and getting away from the Max Egans of the world, you are profoundly saying, okay, I don't want that truth, which is truth mixed with lies. I just want the truth. Isn't there anyone out there? That's why Colleen and I did this, because we couldn't find anyone out there that was just telling the truth. We didn't discover Santos Bonacci until after we started our channel. And then we found Santos, which makes sense because we probably weren't, ultimately worthy enough to discovering all of that mountains, massive mountains of truth that Santos teaches. It's unbelievable how much wisdom, knowledge that man possesses inside of his head. It's just incredible. And that's why we did what we did. So the first thing you have to do is you just have to say, I'm not happy with who I am and I want more. And wanting more is giving to others. So then you see, the first thing you do is you calm your breathing. Second thing you do is you change your diet. And you are a frugivore, so just become a frugivore. You don't cook your food. You can transition for now. If you are going to cook for now, then you're only going to cook fruits and vegetables, seeds and nuts. And you're going to cook, and you can have rice. There's nothing wrong. Rice is neutral. Rice is neutral. A lot of beans, like chickpeas, are very neutral as well. And if you steam them, that's how they're meant to be cooked. Steam them over a long period of time, or if again, anytime you're going to cook, low heat, long periods of time, let it start in the morning, and then you come to it later in the day, and then you're not going to destroy the alkalinity in what it is that you're eating. And let's face it, there are absolutely some things that you have to cook. Just try eating some of the beans raw, and they're disgusting. That's not how they're meant to be eaten. And you can't eat rice in its raw state. So commonsensically, there are some things that are very naturally to be cooked. But again, what do we find with all of these things that can be cooked? They can be gently cooked. They can be steamed. They can be sautéed all day long. Low temperatures, so then that's your food. But really, all your body needs, trust me, 1,000,000%, all you need is raw fruit. That's it. Nothing else. Raw fruit. Raw fruit. Raw fruit. But I need, they're all in there. And your body, protein, but Charlie, protein, your body makes all the protein it needs itself. Nobody wants to tell you this. Even when you watch some of these documentaries on Netflix about stop eating meat and stuff, and they're all telling you, well, that broccoli has this much protein, but it's all about like the protein and protein. No, you don't. Your body makes all the protein it needs. Remember, God's best friend in the world is Santa Claus. Santa Claus is God's best friend. That's what Santa does for us. Whatever we put in, he is using things like enzymes and amino acids, friendly acids, making friends, turning devil processed foods into something that can be used. And then that's why people are excreting so much, because the vast majority of what you put in is not food. It's just like cardboard, and then you just poop it out. You poop it or pee it out, and it has to, because it's not real food. That's what I said. Supermarkets are death markets. If you go to a supermarket and you go down these aisles and you buy cereal, yike, wow, just wow. You have no idea how, it's just cancer. Everything is cancer, right? And like I told you, bread, if you're having any bread, right, bread's really not good for you because it's heavy. You don't want anything heavy. And if you're having bread that has yeast in it, oh my God, yeast is just it is a poster for cancer. You want to die from horrific pain, then you just keep eating yeast. The yeast is the worst thing. It's just pure candida. It's just the worst thing that you could possibly do is yeast. It needs to stop. So raw fruit, that's all you need. So when you do these things and you get your body ready, breathing, post it everywhere. Stick it on your forehead if you have to. It doesn't matter. Put stickers everywhere, and then post everywhere. Remind yourself to breathe. Long, slow, deep inhales. Because as soon as you do that, you're out of beta, and immediately you're into alpha or theta. And that's where all the magic occurs. And you can meditate in alpha, and then you deeply meditate in theta, and then it's just like crazy, leaving your body in delta, and then gamma is you're up in the stars with God in the sky, and epsilon, wow, it's just epsilon. It's just you're the 11. You and God, hand in hand, best pals in the world, and there you are, walking amongst the stars, hand in hand together, just shooting the breeze. It's beautiful. It's just, that's what epsilon is. It's just you and God, nothing. And that's why people have to literally shake you when you're in epsilon, because you're so far gone. You're so deep into the metaphysical world, it doesn't even look like you're alive. And your pulse, And I know this because doctors have done this with me. Even back when I was playing football, they were overly concerned because I couldn't keep weight on. I was, really quite skinny and always been sort of quite skinny my whole life. And then also I had very low blood pressure, and they were just like, it's so low that, you should have more blood pressure. So what we'd really like you to do is to eat these things, and I wouldn't eat them because that's just not right to eat. So then they're looking to put me on supplements and all this stuff. Okay. So anyways, so it's when you're in these states, and just do so much of it by your breathing, then I mean you're just lighter than air. You really are levitating. And you're free. You're free from the bonds of the ankles. You leave your ankles of your legs, and you're free flying and then free falling, as Tom Petty wrote so beautifully. And you're never going to fall and hit bottom. Yeah, like the Birds wrote. How is it that I could come out to here and be still floating, and never hit bottom, and still looking through, relaxed and just paying attention, because you're in the now, and you're in the now, and there's nothing bad that can ever happen to you, because that's the now, because that's with God. So breathing does that for you. Eating alkaline foods. Now, the big thing is just being righteous, goodly, godly. That's why I focus the meditation. And once you become a good person, constantly put Post-its everywhere. Be a good person. Be a good person. Make the right choice. Make the right choice. Be a good person. Do the right thing. Put Post-its everywhere. Put Post-its everywhere for you, and remind yourself, and that may seem like the weirdest thing, to remind yourself to be a good person. But again, that's wisdom. We've all been lied to for so long. It's not your fault per se, but it is what it is, and we have to get rid of it. So if you have to put Post-its everywhere to tell yourself to be a good person, to be a nice person, to be goodly, godly, to be righteous, then do it. Just do it. Every decision you make from now on, make it from your heart. Make it out of love. Doesn't matter what the cost is. Money doesn't work that way. You know that now. I've showed you that their money is fake. It's monopoly. It doesn't exist that way. Money, wealth, any form of wealth, things that you absolutely have to have, even if God doesn't believe that these things are ultimately good for you. If we live in a system that requires money for now, then God will provide money for you for now. Okay? So when you're righteous, you'll get lots of it. Just trust me. And the only way that these bandits have lots of it is because they steal it. That's how you know anyone who's rich and has all of that money kind of thing is either really goodly, godly, and comes from a family of deep, deep, deep meditation, and they're rich in all of the wealth of God. And you see it in their faces, and you see it in the actions, the things that you do, like Donald Trump and his family. They're just all sacrificing for you. I can't tell you. There's so much stuff I wish we could share with you, but we can't share everything with you yet, because it's not up to us to reveal everything just yet. But you're just going to see. You see, it's all in the family. Some clues for you. It's all in the family, and that the Q team. There's so much family involved in the Q team. So we got to get righteous and right. And so you need to put stickers. It doesn't matter. Just start making the right decisions. Money will come to you in huge amounts once you get right. Okay? And when you start selflessly sharing your knowledge and wisdom with others, then it really starts to flow in abundance. Okay? And that's what I want for all of you. All of you will do greater things than I, for sure. You will. I'm giving you everything that I possibly can. I'm giving you my essence. And then you're going to take that with your personal genius, and you're going to combine the two, and you'll be more. You'll be more. And so I'm just passing it on. And then the people that learn from you will be more than you, because they're going to be taking the balance of everything that you know, plus their personal genius, and then moving it on. And so you see, that's called ascension, isn't it? That every time we do the righteous thing, the good thing, and we pass it on, we share it with our beloved brothers and sisters, because remember, there's only one true father, there's only one true mother. Our parents on earth are parents, pair of rents. P-A-I-R, a pair, two, of rents, R-E-N-T-S. These are souls, beings that have agreed to play a role for us as our birthing parents. But believe me, trust me when I tell you, God is your Father. There's no other one who can bestow consciousness, and you are not your physical body. You are your consciousness that keeps the physical body alive. And when your consciousness leaves the body, your physical body goes back from whence it came. Beautiful this is, it's the father and the mother. That's our real parents. So I'm not saying to not love and champion and try and have an incredible, beautiful, loving relationship with your birthing parents, but they're not your real parents. They're playing a role, because only God can bestow consciousness, and only the mother can bestow the physical form. That's your real father and your real mother. So it's just so beautiful. So when we connect to these things, then we are connecting to God and the mother. So then it becomes easy to pick up the call. So 1111, God is calling you, and you see 222, 333, 444. These are triplets. That's the Holy Trinity. You're seeing the Holy Trinity. So that's everything. That's you. See, the thing that's so huge about you seeing triplets is that that's you saying, pick up the phone. That's the higher part of you saying, pick up the phone. That's the Mother Earth who's now saying, oh my God, you're so close, pick up the phone. And that's God saying, pick up the phone. That's where you're seeing the triplets. When you start seeing triplets, that's why I've told everyone, it's huge when you see the triplets, because that's the Holy Trinity. That's the higher you, the mother and the father, all going, pick up the phone! Pick up the phone! That's what you need to do, is pick up the phone. How do you pick up the phone? Still your mind. Still your mind. Calm your mind. That's it. Turn off the TV. Silence. If you need to go into a closet, the closet is a metaphor. You're not meant to go into a closet. You're meant to go into the closet of your mind. Go inside. But if you're struggling and you literally need to go into a closet for now, do whatever it takes. Don't be humble. Penitent man is he who knows God. Be humble before God. Do whatever you need to do, what works for you, to do this, because once you do this and once you make this connection, it becomes easy. And then like what I've done, once you've done this and you've created this connection to God, it never goes away. If you continue, you have to continue to do the work. But if you continue to do the work, it never goes away. And then God is your best friend in the whole world. Colleen is my best friend in the whole physical world, and God is my best friend in everything else. And those are my best pals in the whole world. And it's the most amazing thing ever. It is just the most amazing. I want this so desperately for you. I love you guys so much, and I am your friend. I am a real friend, and I will never turn on you. Ever, ever, ever will I ever turn on you. And Colleen and I aren't going anywhere. And as we get older and older and we don't age, and it starts to look really weird, and then people are going like, should we kill them? Seriously, should we just burn them at a stake? Because this is getting ridiculous. They're 90 and they still look like they're sort of 30-ish. I think we should, let's burn them at the stake. We're not going to run and hide like so many people do. When you become right brain, when you become magnetic, your cells are just regenerating. There's no reason for your cells not to regenerate. Your cells are just molecules, which are atoms, points of light, God's light. So God's light is just going to continue to regenerate forever, because that's what God is. That's what you are. Be that. Don't be electrical. Stop eating this horrific food. Cheese, like I just told you, cheese, I just showed you, is literally crack cocaine. It's literally heroin. It's literally heroin. It's 60 cups of milk, and a single cup of milk is horrible for you. 60 cups of milk? What do you think that's doing to you? Achoo, achoo, I'm allergic. Oh, these damn bees. Oh, I hate bees, and if I get stung by one, I'm going to die. I hate bees. Why did God make bees? Give me some more cheese. Hey, that's my milk. Get out of there. Hey, get out of the way. Yeah, oh, that's my yogurt. Get away from my yogurt. I was just play acting there, but you get the message. Did you see what I was doing there? This is like milk and milk and milk and dairy and dairy and dairy, and it's mucus. What did Dr. Sebi say? If you have mucus in your body, you're dying. He's exactly right. He's exactly, and Dr. Sebi even came up with a recipe. If you're so stuck on bread, Colleen and I wouldn't touch bread for all the tea in China, but if you're so stuck on bread, Dr. Sebi came up with a recipe using spelt flour, using spelt as the flour, and you can make spelt bread. And it's an actual alkaline bread. It's just really heavy. It's hard on your body to process. Al, the chemist, has to work hard. And then when he's working hard, this is what I just want to share with you. When you're doing all of these heavy foods, okay, and that's the thing with like a lot of vegetables and cooked foods, and it's harder to process, Al, the chemist, is working nonstop at just getting rid of them for you. And he can't be doing his main thing. What's his main gig? What is Santa Claus's big thing? The three kings of Orient. We three kings of Orient are bearing gifts. We've traveled so far. Yeah. Pineal gland, pituitary gland, hypothalamus. Okay? And what do they bear? Melatonin, serotonin, and dopamine. There you go. The holy trinity of health. Yeah, and when you leave Al the chemist alone, when you leave Santa Claus alone to do his magical work inside of you, that's what he does. And what is, all these books came out in the 80s and 90s. What were they telling you about melatonin? Melatonin, it regenerates you, and it makes your skin look so young, and it's all about being beautiful, right? And you can just look young forever with the melatonin. Yeah, that's right. It's God's, and it makes your skin go white. No, it doesn't make your skin go white. It makes your skin go light. See, everything is about light because that's what God is. That's what an atom is the light of God. Photons. That's the right light. When we write our book, you're going to see this incredible story of the alphabet, and it's all the key. One of the key letters in the whole story is the letter P, and that L and P are very key letters because L's the wrong light and P is the right light. And when you finally do it with the right light, oh my goodness, you're headed to Z. And Z is everything. It's the pinnacle. That's why it's the last letter. And so you have to do it with the right light. And the right light is photon light. It's stars. It's your cells. It's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. So becoming Post-its everywhere to this. And if you need to go into a closet to quiet your vision, if you need to put a mask over your eyes to just help block out the sun, if you need to put plugs in your ears to just, it's okay. Totally okay. Totally. You're going to get to a point where you don't need any of it. Believe me, I'm meditating when I'm scooping the dog's poop. And my right wrist is very sore right now because it's the rainy season. Their poop is so much heavier, and so I have like this little helper on my right hand, my right wrist, because the poop scooper just is becoming so heavy for 24 dogs. But I'm being able to do this twice a day somehow. But I'm meditating while I'm doing it. So you can meditate anywhere and be anywhere. You don't need, but at the beginning, if you need to go into a closet, if you need to cover your eyes, if you need to plug your ears, do those things and don't apologize for doing them at all. Do what it needs to take. So what you just need to do is to still yourself, okay? Even if you're afraid of meditation, don't be. Meditation is just stillness. Once you still yourself, God appears, and you'll know it's God. It's not this devil that they tell you that's going to come. No, it's God, and you'll know it's God because it's beautiful. So when you go within and still yourself, that's what meditation is. The 1111 is the call. You answer the call by just calming down, relaxing, okay? And you need to do this by living a righteous life. And that means you're not killing animals, okay? And it means that you're treating yourself with respect by eating the right foods and by controlling your breathing. Cannot emphasize enough that the breathing thing it starts with breathing, and it's so important. Now, you can't get to the highest levels just with breathing, but you can't get through the door without proper breathing. So it starts with your breathing, okay? And the breathing will change your brain waves. As soon as you change your brain waves out of beta you go into alpha, theta, delta, gamma, and epsilon, okay? Alpha and theta are the first two. They're amazing. So even if you didn't ever get anywhere past those, it's still just amazing. And those two are achieved by just breathing. So it's incredible. Be incredible. Control your breathing. Change your diet. You cannot be you're not going to ascend. You're not going to receive salvation from God if you're participating in what's happening to these animals. Okay? Even Paul McCartney said that if the slaughterhouses of the world the walls were made of glass, nobody would eat meat. Okay? Even Paul McCartney said that. It's the truth. What goes on in these places is horror, and that, of course, mimics perfectly what they are doing to our children. So, like Colleen said, and she's right, you don't want to hear this. I know some of you are not going to want to hear this, but it's true that by participating in eating meat, dairy, and eggs, you are a variation of adrenochromers. You're doing the exact same thing to cows as these demons are doing to our children. And don't tell me that, well, you don't even. Veal is a massive, massive market. Veal is a baby cow. So yes, they do. This industry, yes, they do. They do eat babies as well. That's what veal is. It's evil beyond description. You cannot be a part of this. And by the way, again, why would you be a part of this? Why would you be a part of this? You're a frugivore, 100%. Look it up. You are a frugivore, 100% you are a frugivore. And a frugivore eats raw fruit. Some vegetables, seeds, nuts, they don't cook their food. In fact, nobody cooks their food. Okay, so what are the four types of animals, mammals, insects that consume, that eat, anything that eats? They're either one of four. There are four categories. There are frugivores, there are herbivores, there are omnivores, and there are carnivores. None of them cook their food. The only ones that cook their food are humans. Why? Because we were told to. Why? Because that's how the few rule the many. When you cook your food, you're killing your food. You eat life to have life. You don't eat death to have life. Now, wait a minute. You don't have to be a genius to figure that one out. That is called common sense. That's God's common sense. You eat life, lettuce, yay, lettuce. Lettuce, but lettuce has feelings. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It exists to be consumed. How do you know this with things like mangoes and peaches and apples? If you don't eat them, they fall to the ground. There's more and more and more apple and mango and trees and lettuce. Lettuce just goes to seed. And then there's more and more lettuce. If you don't eat, it's telling you, like some of these people, and these are the Max Egans of the world, right, that are telling you this stuff. They're literally saying, yeah, well, and also in Max's slow, hypnotic voice to put you in a trance, Max is also saying that, and of course, when you do eat, like lettuce, you're killing it, aren't you? So these vegetarians, they like to think they're so higher than you, but they're just murdering as well. Oh my Lord. No. They don't have a nerve system. Oh my gosh, that is idiocy to even suggest that. And you have to be an idiot to listen to that and believe that. How do you know that you're supposed to eat like a mango? If you don't eat lettuce, a mango, an apple, a peach, they all turn to seed. And then pretty soon, the whole earth is just filled with lettuce, mangoes, apples, and peaches. And then we'll be ruled over. You should have eaten us, and now we're going to eat you. We're the evil apples. We're the evil peaches. We're the evil lettuce. Hollywood will make a movie out of it, and it'll go 100 million box office. It'll win the Academy Award, and yay. That's just ridiculous. Of course, if we don't eat the foods that are naturally given to us by Mother Earth, that dominate the earth. Okay? So of course we're supposed to. Okay? That's how it works. Animals, we're surrounded by cows. Cows, they love us. I go outside, they don't shy away from me. They're all around. And the horses and the mulos and the burros, they're all around us and they love us. And they're just beautiful. They're just beautiful. So we got a minute to go here. I'm going to wrap this up. Now, 11:11. You are being called. God is saying that you are one of the chosen ones. and you are important. And what's going on in the world right now, folks, is huge, okay? But there is a bigger role to play in the coming months, in the coming years, and that's going to be healing everyone. That's this calling to you. You need to become these leaders that is going to teach these wisdoms and heal people by the healing work you do to yourself. You must heal yourself first, and then you heal others. And so you're being called. How do you answer the call? Pick up the receiver, breathe. I guarantee you, just by breathing, you'll begin to get images and actual voice inside of you telling you, putting thoughts right into your head. They don't have to be in words. You'll just see them. It's just a completed thought, and it's inside of you. That's how it works. And it's so incredible. And then when you stop murdering animals or being part of that system, more will come. And then when you just start being a righteous person that helps everyone in every moment, more will come. And then the floodgates are taken off, and then it's just like, oh my goodness, it just, wow, there's so much stuff. I have to write it down, or I have to write everything down because there's so much, and it's just incredible. And that's what it's going to be like for you folks. It's just going to be incredible. And you've been called. You are the chosen ones. You're here for a reason. And I love you for it. And I believe in you. And anything that we can do to help you along this way, we are here for you. And if you absolutely need to get a hold of us for something that is emergency, just tell us, and we'll make the time, find the time, and we'll reach out, okay? Because that's what you're going to do in the future too. So, Patty, I love you. Thank you so much. Vanessa, I love you. Thank you so much. All of our beautiful friends and listeners, I love you so much. We're not going anywhere. Colleen and I are going to stay for you. And remember, next week's show, 2 hours, the truth about Jesus Christ. And remember, I don't want people to be afraid. It's great. It's great. You just need to know the true story, not the false story, the true story. And it's better. It's way better than the Jesuit. The Order of Jesus are the Jesuits, and it's way better than their demonic lies. It is incredible. It's the story of stories. It's the highest of highs. It's the holiest of holies. So with that, I'll say thank you for being here for the 1111 show. You have been chosen. You are the chosen ones. Answer the phone. Start by your breathing. Put signs everywhere and start breathing constantly the right way. And I guarantee you the messages will start to be downloaded. That's answering the phone. So love you. Got tons of stuff coming. Love you. Thank you again, Patty, Vanessa, and we'll see you next week. Bye.